Oh boy. Ah boy. Ah boy. Whew. Okay, it's working now. It's not being dumb. I say right as I'm about to go. Just, you know, let's see. Control G. Yay, it's working. Hallelujah. Finally. And now I get to suffer. Isn't that great? Aren't we excited? So actually, I'm not sure if this is the first level, but not the first level. I'm not sure if this is the last level. Everything. What is this? I'm streaming Quake 2. I was having an issue with this is effectively my second try at the stream. For some reason, I was having monitor issues and it was displaying on the wrong screen. But I'm not sure if this was the last level or not. But I've noticed something with this level and with a few other levels of like final levels for like WADs and stuff I've been playing. In particular, I recently played a map pack for Doom 64. And in it, I noticed that one thing a lot of sort of final maps like to do for games like this is they like to have basically battles by attrition. And what I mean by that is they kind of just relentlessly throw crap at you throughout the whole level, like assuming that you're not assuming that you are consistently progressing and that you're not just, you don't get lost. It basically just ceases to throw stuff at you, and it, rather than like decently pacing stuff out, and it makes playing through them very exhausting and kind of tedious. And just this level in particular, I noticed last time, is definitely one of those levels, because there are so many of these big tank enemies. Quake 2H way better than the original. Fight me. I will fight you. So there are a few things. I was gonna save this for the end, but I'll say it right now. There are things I think Quake 2 overall does better, and things I think Quake 2 overall does worse than Quake 1. For starters, the basic actual feeling of the shooting, like the way the guns feel the fire and stuff like that, I think is much better in Quake 2, because the animations overall, they're much punchier. There's a lot more impact to the recoil and everything like that. In Quake 1, especially with the animation interpolation on, it felt like they were kind of just softly bouncing backwards, and that made the shooting feel significantly less impactful than it really needed to be satisfying. And secondly, the sound, most of the guns sounded like pillow cannons. They just felt very, very weak to use, and therefore a lot of the combat in and of itself in the default form of the game was very underwhelming in terms of feeling, that is. I think that in terms of the actual combat itself, it was better than, say, something like Doom, for reasons I'll get into in a second. But I'm just thinking. The big thing, Quake 2 overall handles its overall shooting mechanics much better, I feel. In terms, I mean, like, not mechanics. The actual shooting itself feels more satisfying in Quake 1. But where I think, but like, that's really, I think, one of perhaps the only real major improvements Quake 2 makes to the overall Quake formula, because the rest of it, I just... bleh. So visually it feels like they threw a lot of effort into them. The levels, they feel like they have a lot more visual, there's a lot more going on in the way of visual design. It's a lot more polished. Quake 1's maps could be pretty barren, pretty flat at times. But, I put this, the one thing Quake 1 had over Quake 2, in my opinion, is Quake 2's maps get very repetitive, I've found. Because, whilst both games are very, very brown, Quake 2... It's been a while since I played this level, so I kind of forgot the direction I was supposed to head in. So it might take me a second to get back on track. But I found Quake 2, in comparison to Quake 1... Actually, what am I supposed to be doing? Find functioning data spinner. Well, that's it. Quake 2's maps, well, Quake 1 and Quake 2 are very brown games. But the thing is that Quake 1 would often interject kind of a bit more, like for example, with episode 4, there was a lot of like blue, like granted very faded blue, but there was a lot of like blue interjected into the environment. A lot of the levels used differing themes to really kind of prevent it from feeling repetitive. Quake 2, it's pretty much all just these space environments, and I feel it gets a lot more repetitive, a lot quicker as a result. Takes the brown, yeah. It's not only is it much more brown, but it does very little in terms of its environments to kind of try and freshen things up. And the game, really, in my opinion, just gets boring much quicker than Quake 1 did. Much more quickly as a result, because I'm like, well, I've seen this all before. And it doesn't help too that I think that the combat in Quake 2 is also far more tedious than Quake 1's was, because you can technically argue that in both games in both games the enemies are kind of bullet spongy, but in Quake 2, in Quake 1 they don't feel as bullet spongy as they do in Quake 2. And in addition to that, one thing Quake 1 does is it really eases off on the actual amount of enemies it's throwing at you. Quake 2 feels a lot more in line with kind of like what Doom does, where they just throw hordes of enemies at you. And that creates this very awkward situation within the combat, to where in Quake 1 it was structured in such a way that, yes, you were fighting tougher enemies, but you're fighting less enemies, which meant like there was more of a... when the choices you made had more meaning, because whatever you were focusing on... My brain is just dead right now. Already did this. Door is opened elsewhere. Let me just focus for a second so I can figure out where the game wants me to go. I think I have to go back to that big door, right? Not this way. That's not what I wanted. Actually, okay. Find a communication laser CD. Palace. I think I have to go back to that big door. But, in Quake 1, you're fighting less enemies who are more powerful. Meaning that it was easier it was inherently designed in such a way that it was easier to make decisions because there was less being thrown at you. It was less overwhelming to your senses, but each individual threat was increased tenfold. So therefore, your choices also had that much more meaning. Because in Doom, the enemies were much weaker, but you were just fighting more of them. Conversely, in Quake 2, they kind of go for that route of throwing as many enemies as they can. Not quite to the extent of something like Doom 2, but in the same vein as something like Doom 1, I'd say. Whilst maintaining that same kind of, like, enemies are much more powerful and things of that nature as Quake 1 had. But here, because they're throwing more enemies at you, because they're throwing more enemies at you, it makes all the combat counters far more irritating. Which is not helped by the fact that a lot of the individual enemies are just super irritating as well. And it's hard for me to really pinpoint why, outside of there's that enemy type that like throws grenades and hit scans you. Because one of those things is enough on its own, but the fact that you get an enemy that can do both at the same time just makes fighting them just an absolutely awful chore that is kind of insufferable. But like most of the enemies in Quake 2, they're just irritating to fight, and it really detracts from the combat encounters. Quake 1 was horror, Quake 2 was action. Simple. Yeah, but here's the thing. Quake 1 handled the action better. It wasn't as satisfying, sure, but it was far less tedious, which I think is the big problem with Quake 2. It feels like a very tedious game to play, which combined with its overall more repetitive nature, just makes the game far less enjoyable in my opinion. Didn't I get that already? Or do I need another one? Oh, that didn't work. And now the phone buzzing. Hallelujah. Not something I can go. So I'm assuming that will be another loading here. So you're going to see this is right here. I'll say yes, Quake 2 does hold up better visually, I can say that. It's a much cleaner and more visually well-realized game than I think Quake 1 was. I don't like the art. I mean, I don't like the setting and the theme as much as Quake 1. But the visuals, I would say, are definitely better handled. Mostly because, I guess, mostly because of the higher poly counts and stuff that they're able to get away with. They were able to make much more polished character models than they were able to pull off with Quake 1. That and combined with some of the colored lighting and stuff. Yeah, I mean, like, for me, it's just a case of, like, there are so many enemies that, like, whenever I see them come up on screen, like, a good half of the enemy monsters, whenever they come up on screen, I'm just like, oh no, I don't want to fight you, which to me is just like, especially because, like, it's not just that they are enemies I hate to fight, it's that they're enemies that I hate to fight. They're also really frequent to be fought. That's okay. You fight them very frequently. They're irritating as hell. Quake 2 is a whole game of Quake 1 based things. Yeah, pretty much. I don't hate the Quake 1 base things, but here's the thing. The Quake 1 base things were constructed in such a way that they're kind of meant to complement the other areas. Like, one really... I can't remember what his name is off the top of my head, but somebody watched a video kind of very well described it, where it was like one thing a lot of old school shooters used to do is, I mean, the music's good. I'm not actually, I say that. I'm not about to complain about the music other than the fact that it's absolutely repetitive because they play the same like 5 tracks throughout the entire game. I don't think. Okay, I can't go for there yet. Okay. I thought I wasn't gonna go back down for a second. At the end of the day, it's... What? Quack! The music in Quake 2 is, I just find to be very repetitive. To be fair, they did do something like that in Quake 1 where they use a lot of the tracks over and over and over again. But the thing is because they were ambient tracks, it was much less noticeable and it was a lot less irritating.
There's this difference between Quake 2 enemies and Quake 1.
I mean, well, I don't really think it's a fair thing to say because Quake 2 does actually do the thing where it has dynamic tracks based on things within the level. Not to the extent that Dust does, no, but it does do that. Because like there'll be parts where you're exploring the level and it will transition to a different track. Like so, for example, like when you pass through one of those loading areas, or when you finish a combat encounter or something like that, it will. Oh hi. Wait, is there another one of those guys I have to kill or something? It's not that they're different Kaz that I have a problem with. It's what? I don't remember liking this level. It's not that they're different, Kaz. I think is the issue. That is the issue with Quake 2. I mean that they are very similar. It's just that fighting them is irritating. That's the biggest issue, because it's like, if I'm not having fun with the combat because the enemies are so god-awfully annoying, there's a problem. Did I go through here yet? Yes, I did. Well, that's the thing, too, right? Because, like, with Quake 1, yes, I hate the spawns with a passion. Honestly, I probably hate them more than any enemy in Quake 2. But the thing with that is that, one, the spawns weren't introduced until the final episode of the game. What the hell am I supposed to do? I am... What? Huh? What? It's probably just because I'm talking and trying to play the game at the same time. But just my brain right now is not. It's not. I don't think I went back through here. What is through here? Okay, thought that might have been a secret push wall or something. Oh, just back here again. La-di-da-di-da. Yeah, anyways. As much as I hate the spawns, they don't appear till episode 4. And to add to that... Okay, definitely, yeah, no, okay. I don't really know what the game wants me to do, if I'm being completely honest. I don't know what you want from me.
obtain the data CD from the
Upper Palace. So it wants me to go up there. I just don't know how to go about getting to there. Is this just lights, or does this have like an actual purpose? Like it's guiding me. I don't know. So as much as they don't like the spawns, they don't appear throughout the entire game, and not only do they not appear throughout the entire game, but when they do show up, they aren't like a constantly appearing enemy that you have to deal with. Security pass required to get. Didn't I grab a security pass? What? Excuse me? Huh? Oh, hello. What did that do? I don't know. I am like, my brain is just having, it's like just becoming concave. This level's purgatory right now. So I have done this already, which I don't entirely. So if I go through here, is there something here that I need? I don't believe this was open before.
Or maybe it was. I don't.
Whereas with the enemies in Quake 2, though, like all of the enemies that tick me off appear consistently and regularly throughout the entire game. Meaning, not only do I have to deal with an annoying enemy type, but I have to deal with it constantly. I have what? Okay, what do I have? I have so many different items and I don't know what I 90% know. Oh, I haven't been down this way. Yeah. Thank you. I thought I would. Of course. Yeah. Oh boy. Oh dear God.
We have a disable and destroy order on communication link.
Kaz, you were supposed to yell at me that I'm supposed to spam my quick save button. Being some slack this time. Right. That was not going to be a tank. It was going to be the stupid turrets. Duh. Right. That is a tank, so. How are you still alive? I think I missed. I mean, on a technical level, Quake 2 has held up better than Quake 1, yes. But Quake 1, in my opinion, is overall a much more enjoyable seeing you go slow rings. Quake 2 is just killing me, man. I mean, like, I kind of enjoy... when I haven't played it for a while and I jump back into it, I'm like, hey, this is pretty fun. But like towards the end of the game, I do just really end up losing it, which is why I don't usually finish it. Why it actually took me quite a while to finish it. But yeah, I just find Quake 1's just such a much more palatable experience than Quake 2 is. Quake 2 might be better on a technical level, but it's far more irritating. And it tends to wear me out like a lot faster because it's much more repetitive than Quake 1 it is. It's funny that you say that though, Cass, because I have like the exact opposite feeling. I kind of hate it when I play somebody and I'm slowly going insane because I feel like, I don't know, for me I don't like watching people suffer like that. It kind of hurts my brain. Okay. Is this where it came from? Yay! We can do the thing. Except I have to get that CD. What do I do? It's not a thing. There's gotta be a way I can get up here, right? Dang it, I didn't realize that wall was gonna be. I'm also just playing terribly right now, because, yeah, my brain... Like I said, I'm just slowly going insane. Okay, I wasn't sure if that had saved, so I wanted to do nope. So assuming that I have to go up this way. Yeah, it would seem like that. But I was saying something earlier in regards to one of the things Quake 1's base things did really well, and one of the things actually a lot of old school lane shooters did, and I'm doing with Viscerafest actually, is they kind of pick two opposite differing themes that kind of complement each other. Right? So it's like in Quake 1, you've got like the Lovecraftian ancient elements that clash with more sci-fi elements, right? And in doing that, you make it much more, you not only create a great way for yourself to introduce a sense of variety, but you also make your overall game setting and what's going on inherently that much more interesting. Like, destroy that? Nope. Oh my gosh. What's the point of that? If I can just get to the other side of it like this, what's the point? I don't care. Please die. Just chilling there. What? Excuse me? Am I near explosive barrels, or what killed me? Does the BFG do splash damage to me? So I need to... Okay, I thought I saw an enemy there for a second. So I need to head back in this way, I believe, correct? Yes. But yeah, anyway, so for Quake 1's use of like the Lovecraftian themes with the sci-fi elements, they really kind of complement each other in a very satisfying way. This game doesn't have that. This game has just the sci-fi elements, and it is infinitely less interesting as a result. Oh, wait, what? Are you kidding me? What is... There was like another passageway that had like caves or something. Yeah, it was this. There we go. This is probably about right. Hate these things. Secret? Are you kidding me? Ah, dang it. I thought this was the way forward. So, to reprogram the data spinner at the central computer. So, am I supposed to go back up to that one thing I was at earlier where I just killed that one dude? Do the thing. Not supposed to be here, I can tell you that much. Well, I didn't want to do that, but I did it and we did it again. Hallelujah. It's not this. It's, I have to go through that door again, but I have no sense of direction. Actually, I do. It's just, my brain is completely mush right now. Who is screaming at me? Anyways, sorry. I just don't even... This way, I have to go this way. Hello, oh no. Nowhere. Those things are like the human versions of monkeys. New program accepted. Data spinner is now being removed. Access keyboard, return to data spinner. Wait, what? Access central computer keyboard. So just that? Oh, okay. Shut down communication laser in the upper palace. Yay, so I get to go backtracking again! Hallelujah. That's another thing that kind of makes... I mean, like, I do like the idea of the game introducing objectives and stuff into the game, because I think that's a nice way to add more variety, but I hate it when they use it this, where they just have you backtracking through, like, the same areas 3 times for really no good reason. I don't inherently hate backtracking in anything, to be honest with you. But when it's handled in such a way where it's like, hey, you have to go through this one, like, as in, the level itself is designed to make you backtrack through this area a few times. No. Like, it's just... Okay. It just feels a bit lazy. I mean, like, just like a quick, super easy way to pad out the level. Locate easy access. Okay, yes. I'd love to do that. Oh my god. Well, at least I know that wasn't the same doorway. I think they do that. There should have been a different route you can take each time. Okay. And now I am being screamed at. Hold on. 1 second. I will be right back. I'm gonna finish this level, and then apparently I have to run some. Yay. So what will probably end up happening then is I will be back this evening. I will be back. Anyways, I'll be back this evening. We'll finish this. We'll start doing 2016. A game that I would much rather play than this. And yeah, so I'm sorry. I just